Hey everyone. For this video, I figured it would be interesting to look at some data on kind of who's buying, who's selling, given a lot of the conversations I've been listening to and seeing surrounding the state of the hobby. Is it too focused on flipping and kind of short-term transactions? Is it just dealers selling to flippers who are selling back to dealers? So I wanted to see if there's kind of anything you can glean off of the pop reports and active listings on eBay and Fanatics Collect. So decided to look at kind of a handful of cards, maybe about 9 or so across different grades. And so I decided to start with some modern cards. So the first, of course, being the Joe Burrow, his rookie card, the Prism Silver, and a PSA 10, which is about a pop 289. I chose PSA 10s for the modern cards because I feel like there's a higher probability of cracking and resubmitting. PSA 9s, PSA 8s. So I feel like including those would maybe slightly overstate the pop reports. So that was my intention there. And then obviously checking out eBay, the active listings, of course, would sort by PSA 10. And then I would make sure I'm excluding, people who are just mislabeled the listings. Different grading companies made sure to exclude autographed cards. I was strictly looking at just the graded PSA 10, no autographs, no variations for these cards. The next card I chose to look at was, of course, Luka Doncic's 2018 Silver Prism. Again, just the PSA 10 population of about 2397. I then decided to take a look at a couple of more valuable football cards. Of course, the 2018 Donruss Optic, or excuse me, the 2017 Donruss Optic Patrick Mahomes, and then switching over to the 2018 Donruss Josh Allen. So that's about 4,800 and just over 10,000 in the PSA 10 pop count for each of those cards. Then switching over to basketball, the 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James rookie, again in the PSA 10. There's about 2,400 in the pop count there. And then going a little bit backwards in age, so the 1981 Topps Larry Bird. So I decided to look at the all grades, which is about 12,149 graded cards, then zeroed in on the PSA 9s, about 1551, and 4775 on the PSA 8s. Then finally, going way back to vintage baseball to see if there's maybe more of a collector mentality there. Obviously, the iconic 1951 Bowman Willie Mays rookie. I did all grades. That's 2,367 in the pop count there. The Henry Aaron PSA all grades of his rookie. It's about 7,233 for his cards. Then I decided, maybe look at still a valuable card, but not quite as iconic. Obviously, an iconic set, 1956 Topps. His white back pop count across all the cards there is similar to his rookie, about 7,315 across all grades. And then finally, maybe more of like a pure collector card, which would be the 1960 Topps Warren Spahn. It's about 2,429 across all grades in the pop report for that particular card. And again, in all of these instances, I'm excluding anything on eBay that is autographed, any variation. So the white back is just the white back, not looking at gray or anything. And just looking at Fanatics Collect, buy it now, and auction. And same with eBay, it's buy it now and auctions. So now we're kind of looking at the summary of all of this data. You can kind of see the cards listed on the left, the different grade, the pop count, again, what's active on eBay, Fanatics Collect, and then the sum of those is what I'm calling on market, the online market. Now, it's probably worth pointing out that there's a fair amount of dealers who just have these cards in their inventory and are not looking to actively sell online, but they're going to be setting up at shows every weekend with these types of cards. So it's a little interesting to see something like the 2020 Prism, Joe Burrow Silver, 18 people who have them in a graded PSA 10, right? 6% of the entire population is currently listed for sale. Now, on the one hand, there's a price anyone would sell any card at. So I don't think it makes someone less a collector or, in it for the money. If I had a pack pulled card that I graded myself and, I probably would part with it, for thousands of dollars. There's nothing wrong with that. But it does, I think, bring up an interesting point where even the 1951 Bowman Willie Mays, which, is kind of a pure collector card, is also something where, 2.5%, of it is currently on the market, again, across all grades. And again, that's a card that'll, going to be in showcases. The cards that I think would be more collector based would maybe be the, 1960 Warren Spahn, right? About 1%. So maybe that's kind of a more, natural number. I thought the Larry Birds were interesting, where, across all grades it's about 3%, but across the higher grades, it's about 1.5 and less than 1%. So it's that may be a case where when a collector gets their highest they can probably reasonably afford, which is maybe a 9 or an 8, they put that away and they're not really looking to sell it. Whereas the sevens, the sixes, which might be kind of in the probably like $40 to $80 range. Maybe it's a little bit more. I think it's like $100 probably for like a PSA 7. Um, that lends itself more to the flipping kind of mentality and just ease of transactability. And then of course I guess when you look at something like Mahomes, Josh Allen, Luca, I guess those aren't too crazy. Even the LeBron James Chrome, but it just is kind of interesting again to think that 2, 3, 6 out of every 100 cards that PSA is graded of certain players, is kind of finds itself back on the secondary market. Now, maybe this is, just kind of normal liquidity and people like to upgrade and swap out their collectibles and their collection. But, I think that's just kind of was an interesting exercise. So if you guys have suggestions on different types of cards, I think Joe Burrow, again, he's having a little bit of an off. He got injured, right? So people may be trying to sell, but I'll probably continue expanding this and trying to see if there's any trends or if this is maybe just 1% is a normal amount. So thanks for checking out the video, and catch you on the next one.